What is up, guys? Hey, I think you will find this one extraordinarily interesting. This is a comparison of two stages between me and Sean to really show you how this game is a game of inches and how easy it is to fall behind. Yeah, Sean, great match, dude. You crushed these stages. Even the first stage is Sean won. Second stage, I won. But Sean was still faster. His hits were just not as good, and I had a little bit of an aerial advantage. So I'm just going to kind of break down the differences between mine and Sean's movement. Let's see if I can drag myself right over here. That way, or maybe up here, so that I'm not as in the way, and make myself smaller because I don't matter as much while we're looking at this. Okay, so let's start out. This is kind of crazy. Both of our draws and our first shots are pretty much the same. I'll just play it through so you guys can watch this stage. Okay, so I already broke down this stage where I screwed up on my plan. Sean actually did exactly up front what I intended to do. My intention was to shoot this open target, steal, and then exit on the paper. And because of that, you see me fall behind majorly. And then because I forget my reload, you also see me kind of floating in la-la land, whereas Sean is being extraordinarily deliberate in where he's headed to. So he just had much better execution. If we watch the draw to the shots between both of us, both reacting similar. Sean doing much more of a gangster scoop draw, and me just doing the traditional tactical Timmy draw. And he has a good shift of his weight. This is one thing that he did really, really well, is he's already kind of pointing his toes, getting ready to move. I am a little bit, my toes lifting up a little bit, but he's doing a much better job of setting himself up, hip orientation for the next position. We break the first two shots basically at the exact same time. I'm transitioning a little bit sooner than him, but not by much. That actually could be the delay of me trying to link up the buzzer in the time, so it could be identical. He does a better job of transitioning to steal, nailing steal, and then being able to really exit hard on that open target, which is pretty good. You'll notice an overall much higher level of aggression from Sean's movement. I don't think this has everything to do with being a little bit shorter than me, but he just moves his feet a lot faster than me, and I need to get better at not being just lulling around. So if you notice, I kind of drop out of frame here, but I'll come back into frame. I waited to do my reload, and this is where a big part of him like destroying me on this stage comes from. He's already up and shooting this next target while I'm reloading, and I'm back here. So that was super big. Let me change the orientation of this so we can see right there, so we can see my slow movement, right? I'm trying to move. We're about at the same place, but then I slow down, whereas I should have had gun up and shooting. But I thought, let me get the reload done. Now, when you watch, we shoot these targets about the same pace. I'm just late to the party. So if you watch from him, boom, 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 boom. And that's about the same for me, right? Listen to me shooting these. Right? Pretty much the same rhythm going on there. The difference is he's now just like a second or two ahead of me, maybe a second, and he's already engaging these targets while I'm moving into position. And he did it much cleaner here. This, again, was my mess up on my stage plan. He engages the one while he's on the move, which was the perfect thing to do. Yeah, he executed this stage plan way better than mine, and it really was the difference of like 3 seconds. So he engages that dude. That one's right there, and then he just works his way right to left. Oh, and the only thing I would have done differently, I guess this is kind of a cool thing. He transitioned here. This is actually smart stage planning. So he transitioned from here to this one to soften that transition up, and then transition to this one, transition to this guy behind the wall, and there. Whereas I forgot where I was at right here because my hips are so orientated. I was thinking about breaking the 180. I was like, where am I? And so I shot the middle one, but then dug deep, did this, and moved in on him. So it ended up costing me a lot of extra time. So overall, Sean, that was awesome, man. You executed that perfectly. All right, so we have two different stage plans here. And Sean's time actually ends up being faster. I think he was like 8.9 or something like that, and I was like low nines or something like that. 9.3, I think. So we'll let this one roll out, and you guys can just watch this. Okay, so let's kind of look at what Sean's doing here. Again, great draw, gets out on target, nails those. He's moving. Right, he's leaning in. Now this right here, what Sean's doing right here, is the very reason that I avoided going that direction. He does it really clean, but he shoots this one on the way in and has to do a hard lean. Now he does a good job of letting his weight carry through him, but my guess is that might have been where some of the Charlies came from, is because this is an awkward, compromised, crappy position, and he has to change his momentum. What's funny is I'm actually doing it over here, but instead of doing it on one tucked behind a barrel, I'm doing it on an open. Two open targets that I can shoot into and fall out of. Now, you'll see the aggression again in my footwork. I don't know exactly how to fix this, if because it's an indoor match, or I just don't think, hey, sprint from this position. But I'm not exactly moving as fast as I would like to be right here. Right? I look like I'm kind of like, keep. And that's something I really need to work on. I think that's where a lot of my overall stage times could decrease, is the fact that I need to get those feet moving in between positions. I had a height advantage here. I was able to take this over the shoulder of the no-shoot, whereas he was not. At the end of the day, all this came down to was hits. I think I had 2 Charlies, everything else with alphas, and then Sean picked up a unfortunate delta and I think 5 Charlies. So I would say Sean could have totally beat me on this stage if he ran it again, and maybe a couple more things went right for him. More particularly, I'm sure he was not thrilled with that position right there, because it looks like the gun's kind of canted out and off to the side. And then his final position, too, just because of the height thing. Did a really good job of blending it together, but this was an awkward position. So that's why I ran the stage the way that I did, is I wanted to avoid this position altogether. I just needed to hustle in between. So, guys, this just goes to show how it's micro differences, and it's really cool to have a shooter that I can look at and analyze and see what is he doing that is making him more efficient or better, and then put it side to side next to me, because it really does help. It shows me the areas that I'm kind of being lackadaisical and making mistakes, like doing a reload in the wrong place, or shooting a target out of sequence, or failing to follow my stage procedure. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. That's all.